The reason that piece is really important is because I met a guy named Bob Eason. I
Yeah.
think you
Oh,
met
yeah.
Bob. Yeah.
Soprano player in Canary, and he teaches
Yeah.
at Austin P State University. I know that
Wow.
so immediately because that's in Tennessee, and I
Yeah,
grew
and
up
you're
in
from
Tennessee. Yeah,
yeah
so I know
yeah.
that. And as soon as he got that job, I was like, I know that place.
I know that place and I know that dude.
Yeah.
So but yeah, he's also teaching at another place too. I can't remember the name. It's Austin PA State University or whatever, and then it's also somewhere else. And
Oh, okay. I didn't know about the second place.
he's
but...
teaching I think he was teaching two places. Maybe he's not now. Anyway, so I met him because he went to undergrad at UH and I was doing my master's at UH. Even in my undergrad, I really didn't write much for saxophone other than trying to make an arrangement of a wind ensemble piece that was terrible, which I later redid, which turned out much better whenever I was in my doctorate. Yeah, and so I wrote that piece for her, and then at the end of my sort of tenure at UH, I needed recordings and composers out there. If I may say one thing, recordings are your lifeblood. If you can find a good player and that player is willing to write you a piece of music, it doesn't matter if they play the double bass. You write that double bass player the coolest piece that you could possibly dream up and get the best recording, and you're in much better shape than somebody who's got a rinky-dink little MIDI recording or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Teachers, I know teachers might say it doesn't matter and they can send in whatever, and that's probably to an extent true, but man, if you get a great player and you can hang on to him, hang on to him. And speaking of, he recorded that piece the first time that it was recorded, and he played it in a recording studio. And my friend Brad Sales, who has since won a Grammy for being a recording engineer, he recorded it and he did a great job and it sounded great. And so fast forward, God, how long was it? And so I went to my doctorate, and then I completely finished my doctorate. And while I was at UH, I wrote a string quartet, and then I was at UT, and I wrote another string quartet that I really loved writing. And then they heard them, right? So Canary heard them, and Bob knew me, and he had been talking about commissioning me for a long time. He was like, yeah, I'm going to get you to write something. And then it just kind of fell through. And honestly, I never thought it was going to happen again. And I was like, I don't think he likes my music anymore. That's fine. Happens to the best of us.
Sure.
And so he went to Indiana and got in Canary. And then Canary was like, I think he democratically let them all listen to my music, and they decided to commission me. And that was, I guess that was May of 20 or March, April, May of 2014. Yeah, I think that's right. And then, my dad got lung cancer right after they did it. And then he died in December, and I gave them a bunch of drafts of stuff over the summer, but man, it was really hard for me to write, honestly, in the midst of that. And then finally at the end of his life, it was impossible. I just couldn't write at all. And then right after that, I was like, guys, I got to make this about him. I have to. And I started writing it for him before I even told them. And which is weird, right? Whenever you've commissioned a piece, I'm not sure if you've ever have.
Oh, yeah.
Were you on the commission for the soprano piece?
I was not. No.
You were not. Okay. I was like, man, I feel bad because he he supported me, and I did. What a terrible dude. But yeah, that's great that's awesome. That you support that. But the reason I asked is did you sort of just open-endedly say write whatevs, dude?
Sometimes it's been mixed. It's been really interesting for me. I've commissioned a couple different pieces, and whether it be solo or my quartets commissioned a bunch of pieces, and sometimes I'd say most often for me, I'm kind of whatever you're feeling is cool, but I might have some requests, so maybe stylistically at least a little bit. The one that comes to mind is at last year's NASA, I played a new piece by Josh Trenadu called Excursions.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And so it was a tenor sax and piano.
Nice.
And my thing was, I was just listen, the tenor sax repertoire is not extensive, and we have a lot of angry music. like a lot of like I'm just gonna kind of scream at you for this whole time, and squeak squawk bang is like what I call it. Like a lot of contemporary stuff, which I love, and a lot of angry music. I kind of don't want that at all. And so he was like, I can totally, I wanted something just like let's focus on lyrical and tonal ish at least a little bit, and then some just like energetic playing, but like nothing especially mad.
Right.
And he wrote a great piece. I mean, I think it's awesome. It was like multi movement, and so like then he approached me with this idea of like, what do you think about like landscapes? And so excursion is like a trip, and so each movement
Right.
is based on like there's like a mountain movement, and then like a plateau movement, and like a meadow, and all this kind of,
Nice.
and like a forest and stuff like that.
That's
So
awesome.
that's how it's
Lot
been
of
most
lot of
often for me.
lot of stuff you could do with the imagination for that kind of
Sure.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
So
he's so I think we're friends on like social media or whatever, and he's always just been super nice person. So
Josh is
seems like
awesome. I
he'd be a
plug
good
him
guy
as
to work
often
with.
as I can. Yeah. He wrote a quartet for my undergrad quartet, and then he wrote that the solo piece most recently. So
He is you are his Bob Eason. You
yeah,
understand?
yeah.
Like yeah.
Like
So
and it's so funny. I want to get back to In Memoriam. I don't want to derail
no
us,
no no no
but
no 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 no
but what I
no.
did want to say is just how it does sound like whenever you pair with someone, because I could say this about so many different composers where it's like for example, Stacey Garrett, Chris
Yeah.
Crevston. It's
Yep.
like almost so many pieces that she writes are for him, and then you say, oh gosh, what oh, it's not Stephen Bryant. Someone who played the at the NASA concert. Chris Crevston played. Anyway, there's a Capitol Quartet with his quartet. There's a composer.
Yeah.
That works with
Carter
them.
Pan.
Yes, thank you, Carter Pan.
Yeah.
Capitol
Love
Quartet.
his stuff.
For me, it's just like this relationship exists. With
Stacy
like,
Stacy's a great composer too. Sorry, wasn't trying to
no, you're fine.
only.
I was in the middle of a thought, but anyway, so it does seem like there exists like a common like where if they release a new piece, you're like, okay, this person probably commissioned it, or they're gonna record it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like that relationship is, I mean, like this could be an admonition to young composers, man, telling you like make friends and be a nice person. Because
Mm,
like you just cited Stacy, and Stacy is like one of the nicest people you will ever meet.
yeah.
Like she's really sweet,
I've not
really,
met
really
her. I've
kind.
emailed her once because I played another one of her tenor pieces, and was just I can't even remember I asked for a reference recording if she had one. Immediately she's just like, check this
Boom.
stuff out, and she was like, let me know if you have any other questions. Thanks so much for playing my music, and yeah, I mean she's super nice.
Yeah, and Carter Pan has been, really nice guy to me every time I've interacted with him too. So I mean, I think it's like we don't like that's one of the best things that I try to impress upon my students is just like, guy, you got to be nice. Like number onesies, you got to be a nice person. Like because it'll pay off for you in ways that you like. I've like scored like 13 something films like that, and I can trace every single one of those film opportunities. Which I haven't done in a long time. We can talk about why in a second, but the point is that every person I met was because I was just nice to one dude in my undergrad, and he like recommended me, and
Yeah.
he had heard like a couple things I did, not much, and then like everything after that I've done film wise, and I've had like some stuff like on like Fox Sports Southwest, and I mean nothing crazy. I think I've got something on Amazon right now that and so
Cool.
it's kind of cool.
Yeah, super
But
cool.
point is it would have never happened unless I was nice. And like every composer talk I go to, like I ask how many of you are composers, how many of you are instrumentalists, and how many of you are whatever. And then like there's usually like two composers who are like awkwardly like in their weird t-shirt and like blue hair or something.
Nice.
Which I love that about, the sort of creative aspect of
expressive.
composers. Yeah, totally. And so I was like, I'm going to give you an assignment. And that assignment is to buy coffee for the person sitting right next to you
Oh, nice.
after this and talk to them for an hour and make friends with them. You know why? Because you need them more than you think you do.
Yeah.
You need them. Well, I mean, it's true though. I mean, like,
Makes sense.
I mean, composers like I'm like why I can't understand that people play my music. I mean, I obviously like it, but I'm so grateful that other people do too. But man, you so need other people. So yeah.